This is my love letter to Patrick Rothfuss. I want to talk to Pat about his highly anticipated, seriously delayed upcoming book, Doors of Stone. And on the side, I want to talk to any other creative who has ever really struggled with a project that was meant to come out or that you wanted to come out, but just you couldn't do it, you couldn't follow through, you can't make it happen. Anyone who's stuck on a creative project, but essentially I am speaking to Pat. He's the figurehead in this struggle. And the first thing I want to say is, Pat, your mental health comes before all creative endeavors. And that goes for all creatives. We are allowed to prioritize our mental health above our creative endeavors without shame. And I think that's an important thing to say before we ever go into these discussions about getting projects done. Is like, if you're mentally unwell, then your mental health comes first. Same with physical health. I have, as an author, been really struggling with like my anxiety. And my therapist told me the other day, Amy, you can't actually write when you're having panic attacks. Like, it's not possible. That's not how the body works. And it was really like revolutionary to me to actually hear someone say that you can't create when you're like in pure survival mode. So Pat, that's what I want to first say, is that your mental health comes first. And I'm so sorry that you received like just a fucking inordinate amount of pressure for this book to come out next. I can't comprehend what it's like to have that many people put that kind of demand on me as an artist. And so even though I'm gonna talk through some light suggestions in this love letter / YouTube video, it always has to begin with this. Like, your mental health comes first. The artist is so much more important than the art. You, the author, Patrick Rothfuss, is more important than his books. You are more important than your art. And you always come first. You should always come first. In saying that, I just want to speak to a few things and give you, Pat, room, and any other artist who needs room, the space to just exhale. I think I want to start just by zooming out a bit. No one really fucking cares. Like, I know it feels like a lot of people really care, but no one actually really fucking cares that much about your next creative project, about Doors of Stone. Like, we care, but we don't actually care. Like, yeah, I'll talk about it a lot to all my fantasy reading friends, but like, I'm not losing sleep. No one's losing sleep over this, Pat, other than you. And I find that the most freeing thing in the world. Like, no one actually gives a flying fuck. It's one of the beautiful things about being an artist, I think, is like our art really matters, but it also doesn't really matter. And it's a bizarre little interim world that we live in. It's like, if you never put out this book, Pat, like, doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't fucking matter at all. And the world will continue, and basically there'll be no consequences to us, to my life, to anyone's life. Like, I'll be a bit disappointed, but that's really all we're talking about. We're talking about people being a bit disappointed. So I like to zoom out like that. And then I like to zoom out even further, and it's like, oh, of course the garbage truck comes. I'm so sorry, Pat. Like, zoom out, and it's like you zoom out from your house, and then you zoom out, you know, it's like that, and you zoom out to the world, and then you zoom out to the planets, and then you zoom out and you like see how tiny like a little pale blue dot is, and it's like, oh no, this really fucking doesn't matter. And my next project, my next creative project, I don't fucking matter. And again, I just think that all creatives need that space, and I think maybe, Pat, you need that space. Like, nobody really fucking cares. We are so small. Our art is important and simultaneously not important at all. I feel better. Like, I feel better. The next thing I want to say, Pat, is that you have so much more to create than Doors of Stone and this next project. And like, I want you to get to it. You have a lifelong career of storytelling if you want it. And I don't know you personally, Pat, but I know you have other stories in you. And I think especially when we meet with success, a lot of creatives can feel like we only have that to give. Like, Doors of Stone is the only thing you have to give. The Kingkiller Chronicles is the only thing that matters, and it's the only thing that you have to give the world. And it's just not true. Like, you have a load of other stories, a lot of other art forms, a load of other things that you can give this world. But we're so stuck on this next project. You are so stuck on this next project that it's not leaving space for it. And I just want to remind you that you have so much more to give, and that like this next book is just like, it could be a little blip in your creative career, or your career as an author. Like, there's so much more to come after this, and I want that for you. I want the freedom and the space, the creative space for you after this book has come out. I'm more excited to see what you do completely different to Kingkillers than this next book. Excuse me, I'm so sorry, Patrick. They're just going up and down. Paul, I'm just looking at my notes. I think the next thing I want to say is, again, like, could be interpreted as deeply depressing or like really, really freeing, is that like, people will fucking hate this next book, and people will not like my next book too. And it's good and it's okay and it is completely inevitable. And there's nothing that you can do, Pat. There's nothing that I can do. There's nothing that anyone can do to stop people from fucking hating your art, because your art isn't for everyone. And I'm so sorry, but you are guaranteed to disappoint people. And that's okay. You're going to be okay. I'm going to be okay when I disappoint people. And you're going to be okay when you disappoint people. And I know it's kind of incomparable because I'm not going to disappoint the amount of people you're going to disappoint, but it is so inevitable that we have to come to terms with it, because you cannot create something so perfect that it will please everyone. Your audience is too big. My audience is too big, and my audience is a tiny little baby fucking fraction of what you have. Like, we just can't please everyone without art. It's kind of the point of art. And again, I feel like that could be so freeing if we just sat in that and recognized that it's just not going to be what everyone wants it to be, and that that is totally and utterly okay, and that you are made for so much more than this, Pat, that it doesn't matter that you're not going to please everyone, that you are bigger than this, and it isn't even your job nor responsibility to please everyone. You don't owe anyone shit. I don't owe anyone shit. And I really want to tell you that. Creatives don't owe anybody anything. Even when they've made something that people really truly love, they don't owe anyone anything. You gifted us with something really beautiful. And you don't have to you don't even owe us the book in itself. It would be a blessing to have the book in whatever form it comes, but you don't owe us the third book, excuse me. I'm tired of artists feeling owned by their audience. The audience are fucking lucky to have you. Give them what you want. You're the king of your own creative realm. Like, you are the authority in this. Fucking disappoint them and be proud of disappointing them. I know this is much easier said than done. Like, I'm not big on disappointing people. I would rather if everyone loved me and my art, obviously, but I just really wanted to remind you and anyone else that needed the reminder that you don't owe anyone anything, and that artists are not the playthings of their audience. I think I've decided to end my love letter here. There's obviously a load more to say to you, Patrick, and to all creatives who struggle with perfectionism and procrastination and imposter syndrome. And I mean, being a creative means facing all your darkest demons. I'm sure you can attest to that. And it is such a huge journey, one that is constantly underestimated by people. It isn't just telling a story, it's also looking at every single terrible part of yourself and broken part of yourself and reparenting yourself and taking care of yourself in ways that you've never been taken care of before. Like, being a storyteller, being an artist is some of the hardest, most vulnerable work anyone ever does ever on this planet, and we seriously underestimate that. So I just want to give credit to you, Pat, and to me, and to anyone else who's making art. It's hard, it's fucking hard, and people don't understand how hard it can be, and people don't understand the things we have to face when we do this work. So I want to give us credit. I'm gonna leave it there. You don't owe us shit. I know you feel like your readers have given you a lot, but you don't owe us anything in return. You already gifted us with your work. You already gave us something beautiful. The love that you received in return from your art, was just coming right back at you because you gave us something so incredible. You were so generous with your words. And again, you don't owe us fucking shit, Patrick. You don't owe us shit. This is all on your terms. When you release this next book, if you choose to, it's a gift, and you shouldn't fucking apologize for shit. You should never apologize ever again, actually. Okay, love you. You're really good at what you do, and you inspire me to write.